Well, it looks straight enough to me, as long as when I get done welding brazing it's that good. I got that piece inside that coupler. Got my jaws reversed. Someday I'll tell the story how I got another one of these. Might as well tell it now. When I first got this lathe, see that washer has a cup to it. The cup was going up. When you put the snap ring on, everything rattled in it. So they sent me a new chuck off another lathe. They had to take it off another lathe, so they have a lathe out there with no chuck on it. But I first got it. So I have one for inside and one for outside. So it's kind of dangerous. Do this at your own risk. This is a small lathe. Said I have an improvised piece I made laying around here when I was chucking this in there to lathe it. That's why I had that shoulder, because I had to put a piece on top of here. Little piece I made that would hold this. It never kept it from wobbling, precisely, but it kept it from flying out of the lathe, because that's not holding very much. So don't go sticking something like that in there with no tailstock. I'm not a professional, I'm an amateur. That's straight enough to me as long as it looks that way when I braze it. Of course, when I braze it, I could always warm it up a little bit, tap it back and forth, make sure it's straight, eyeball it, I guess. But there's just a little bit of play in it. It's not an exact fit. I may wrap a little bit of paper around there and tap it in there, which I'm going to do. I'm going to put some paper on that and pound it in there. Then put it in here, because your paper will burn out. That's a little trick to put two pieces of pipe together or something. Just wrap some paper around there. If it'll stick enough gap. There is a little bit of play in there, but we'll get that in there. We'll check it in the lathe one more time like this, spin it a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and braze it. I left a little bit of a shoulder on this piece. There's a shoulder on this piece because I want my brazing to get right down in that groove. So I'll snap a picture of it, and we're on to getting this done. Okay, we cut that piece off. It's ready to stick in there. We measured this paper with just those digital calipers, 1/1000 to 1.5 thousandths thick. Don't ask me why it went back and forth, but that gives you 2/1000ths when you wrap it around there. So when I wrapped the paper around there, I had a test fit. I had to pound it in there with a hammer and a block of wood. So it is pretty tight. So it's not going to be exact. I don't think it's going to wobble too much. Back up here a little bit. So there we go. We're going to wrap a piece of paper around there. We'll cut it with the scissors. We'll stick it in there. The paper will burn away when we braze it. It should be straight. We will put it back in the lathe, run it a little bit when we put it together so we know it looks balanced before we take it out and braze it, which will be tomorrow. We're done for today. So we're getting along with this project here. And we'll also be watching it spin on the motor to see how it does. So I think it'll work good enough. I've had arbors before that you used to buy. You used to be able to buy an arbor that had a bolt and you put your stone on there and they wobbled. They wasn't the greatest either when you bought them brand new. So this ought to be just as good as something if I bought. I can't find them anymore. I've looked on the internet. They used to go on a motor just like this. It had threads. And you had little plastic bushings, whatever, grindstone, and you just stuck it on there and you turned a motor into a grinder. They probably quit selling them because people weren't buying grinders anymore. But if anybody can find one of them out there, they can make a grinder similar to this piece I'm making. But this is going to be to use the cutter blades and stuff off 4.5-inch grinders. So let's get to work. Let's talk more work. Okay, there we go. There's quite a bit of brazing on there. I made a shoulder out of it. Snap a couple pictures of it. Pretty soon we'll have it on the motor and we'll be spinning it to see how much it wobbles. I hope it doesn't wobble any, but there we go. These pieces go on here. It holds your sander disc, grinder blade, whatever. Excuse me. There we go. On to the next part. Get it on the grinder. There is a little bit of wobble because this wobbles a little bit on the shaft. So I may do the same. I may put like a piece of paper or something around there. I tried it with the screws on the shaft instead of a slot, and it made it worse. This piece was probably metric with a coupler thing. I wouldn't doubt it. Good enough for homemade grinder. Got it on a piece of cardboard so it doesn't shake all over. Doesn't vibrate too bad though. I'm moving it right there, trying to mush it around on the cardboard. Well, we're gonna try a grindstone on it. Wish me luck. There's a little wobble to it. You might not be able to see it with it running, but there is a little bit of a wobble. Kind of a dangerous thing without a guard on it, but there we go. Do this at your own risk. I'm not responsible if someone makes one of these, gets injured, hurt, killed, maimed. Just something I did, so I'm not responsible. That's my disclaimer. This is a deadly bench grinder now. 3,450 RPMs. I did take a picture of that. This is a 110 or 120, I should say, or 220 motor. It can run on high or low voltage, and it can be reversible by the lead. Right now, it's going the proper direction. It is reversible, dual voltage. So, it's probably listed for around $150. Good look of it. Thanks for watching this project.